that this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
It's hard to believe, but the man who once ruled the charts, Sean Diddy Combs, has hit rock bottom, and it's happened in the most shocking way imaginable. Known for throwing the wildest parties and being a mogul in the music industry for over 3 decades, Diddy's glamorous life came crashing down when he was arrested on charges that left the whole world stunned. From being one of the most celebrated figures in hip-hop to facing years behind bars, this is a fall from grace like no other. And what's even crazier is how this man, who once seemed untouchable, is now on the brink of breaking down entirely.
That's not the issue. The issue is it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
Diddy's arrest wasn't just some minor incident. This was huge. The charges he's facing are seriously heavy. Law enforcement officials have been watching him closely for a long time, gathering evidence from various sources, including private conversations, messages, and testimony from those who had been around him. There had always been whispers about the behind-the-scenes life of Diddy, but no one really believed anything could touch him. After all, this is a man who built an empire from nothing. But even empires have their cracks, and Diddy's crumbled when the authorities got their hands on text messages and testimonies that pointed directly to his involvement in something far more sinister than anyone ever imagined.
Diddy has been under criminal investigation for months by federal prosecutors here in New York. And if there are criminal charges, many of them may look a lot like what some of these individuals have been described.
It was a regular morning in Manhattan when the news broke that Sean Combs had been taken into custody. The arrest made headlines around the globe, and for good reason. The charges included allegations of racketeering and harassment. And trust us, this wasn't some Hollywood movie. This was real, and the evidence against him was mounting fast. What started as rumors in the industry soon became a full-blown legal nightmare for Diddy. It's said that federal agents had been investigating him for months, piecing together a puzzle of shady activities and secrets that stretched back years.
That clearly there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
But the drama didn't end with his arrest. Once Diddy was taken to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, the reality of his situation hit hard. Now, the Metropolitan Detention Center, or MDC, isn't exactly the kind of place you want to end up. It's infamous for its brutal conditions, a place where even the toughest individuals struggle to survive. This is no 5-star luxury retreat. This is a cold, harsh environment where you're lucky if you get the basics. In fact, there have been numerous reports condemning the facility for its inhumane treatment of inmates, ranging from lack of food to dangerous, overcrowded cells.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
The lockdowns are relentless, 24 hours a day, leaving people in complete isolation for days on end. And when you're someone like Diddy, who's used to living in multi-million-dollar mansions and jet-setting around the world, these conditions can take a toll faster than you'd imagine. Inside the MDC, Diddy's world has been flipped upside down. He's no longer the man with endless connections and a legion of fans. Instead, he's been reduced to just another inmate facing the brutal reality of life behind bars. And from what people close to him have said, it's clear that this place has broken him down in ways that nobody saw coming. Reports have surfaced that Diddy's physical and mental health have deteriorated rapidly since his arrest. It's no secret that he's been struggling with his new reality. Rumors suggest he spent much of his time in solitary confinement, deeply depressed and isolated from the outside world.
That he controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
Being trapped in a place like MDC with no one to turn to and no way to escape the harsh conditions has reportedly driven Diddy to a point of desperation. He's reached a breaking point. The man who once commanded rooms filled with the biggest celebrities and was untouchable in the industry is now faced with an entirely different challenge: survival. And this isn't just about surviving physically, but mentally as well. The isolation, the constant pressure, and the looming years of prison have reportedly pushed Diddy to consider doing something that nobody would have expected: cooperate with the authorities.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his homes.
And this is where things start to get really interesting. You see, Diddy has always been a man who knew how to play the game. Whether in the music industry or in his personal life, he's known how to maneuver himself out of tough situations. But this time, it's different. This time, he doesn't have the same power and influence that he once had. And now, facing the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison, he's making a desperate move to save himself.
That means is the money that they're saying Diddy has to start paying this guy on October 1st. Right. Diddy's team is like, hold on, we need an emergency conversation about why this should not have been granted. Mm-hmm. And they awarded him a TRO, which basically meant that Diddy's team was not allowed to sell any property in that state or anything related to what could be used to pay the plaintiff.
According to insiders, Diddy has begun discussions with law enforcement to cut a deal that could shake the very foundation of Hollywood. Desperate to avoid spending years in a cell, he's reportedly offering up information that could implicate some of the biggest names in entertainment. It's being said that Diddy is ready to name names, expose the secrets that have been hidden for years, and turn on the very people who once considered him an ally. The man who once thrived on secrecy and power is now at the point where he's willing to spill it all to save himself.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
But what exactly is Diddy offering? That's where things get wild. Word on the street is that his infamous parties weren't just about fun and music. They were something much darker. For years, Diddy has been known for throwing the most exclusive and extravagant parties, but behind the scenes, it seems there was more going on than anyone knew. Some of the most shocking revelations that have come to light in recent months are from victims who claim these parties were much more than just a celebration. They were a way for Diddy to gather dirt on the rich and famous. These weren't just parties. They were traps designed to put people in compromising positions, and Diddy had it all on tape. That's right. Diddy allegedly kept recordings of what went on at these gatherings, and he's now using them as leverage to cut a deal with the FBI. It's said that Diddy has incriminating footage, secret conversations, and personal interactions involving some of the biggest names in Hollywood and the music industry. This is what he's offering to the authorities in exchange for leniency in his case. And while this may seem like a desperate move, it's actually a brilliant play. By handing over these recordings, Diddy could potentially bring down an entire network of celebrities, politicians, and influencers who attended his events, all while saving himself from a long prison sentence.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
This kind of information is exactly what the authorities are looking for, and Diddy knows it. His decision to cooperate could be a game changer, not just for him, but for the entire entertainment industry. Because if the rumors are true, this won't just be about Diddy. It will expose a whole network of high-profile individuals who have secrets they desperately want to keep hidden. And Diddy is willing to sell those secrets to the highest bidder, the FBI.
And I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but, like, I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
And this is where we are now. Diddy, who once stood tall at the top of the entertainment world, is facing a decision that could have ripple effects across the entire industry. His time in the MDC has left him broken, desperate, and willing to betray the very people who once partied alongside him. As Diddy prepares to make his next move, the world waits to see what will happen next. Will he turn on his former friends and allies to save himself? Or is there more to the story than we know?
We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy. Yikes. She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
What happens next is sure to send shockwaves through Hollywood, and it's only a matter of time before the full truth comes out. And believe us, when it does, it's going to be explosive. Diddy's fall from grace is just the beginning. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around how fast things have unraveled for Sean Diddy Combs. Just a few months ago, this man was living the kind of life that most people only dream about: private jets, luxurious mansion, endless parties with Hollywood's elite. But now, he's found himself in a nightmare scenario, facing serious charges and, most shockingly, about to spill all the secrets of the glittering world he once dominated. What's crazy is that his downfall doesn't just stop at him. Diddy's about to expose some of the biggest names in the industry, and it's sending shockwaves through Hollywood.
These are all allegations that have become shockingly familiar against Diddy in recent months, as he has faced lawsuit after lawsuit from women and men who have accused him of all manner of bad behavior.
The truth behind those infamous Diddy parties is finally starting to come out, and it's darker than anyone ever imagined. For years, these events were the stuff of legend. Everyone knew if you got an invite to a Diddy party, you'd made it. They were exclusive, lavish, and always filled with the most famous faces in music, movies, and sports. But what people didn't know, or at least didn't talk about, was what really went down behind the scenes. Diddy's parties were more than just celebrations. They were carefully orchestrated events designed to gather dirt on the people attending. And now, in a bid to save himself, Diddy's spilling all the details. Let's start with the victims who have come forward. It's no secret that many who attended Diddy's legendary parties weren't there of their own free will. There have been numerous allegations from individuals who claim they were lured into these gatherings and placed in compromising situations. These people, some of them household names themselves, have shared horror stories about what went on. They've talked about being manipulated, pushed into dangerous scenarios, and even blackmailed. One story that's making the rounds involves someone who says they were invited to a party under the pretense that it would be a typical Hollywood bash, only to find out later that the whole thing was an elaborate setup to record them without their knowledge.
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Diddy, being the power player that he was, allegedly used his influence to pull people into these situations. He'd make them feel comfortable like they were among friends. But as soon as things started getting out of hand, the cameras came out. People are saying that Diddy had his homes rigged with hidden recording devices, capturing everything that happened during these wild nights. And now, with his back against the wall, he's using that footage to his advantage. Rumor has it, he's been in talks with federal authorities, offering to hand over recordings that implicate not just minor celebrities, but some of the biggest names in the game.
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in.
But what exactly did Diddy hope to gain from all this? Well, this is where things get really interesting. It wasn't just about having control over these people. It was about securing his empire. Over the years, Diddy reportedly built a network of high-profile individuals who, because of the information he had on them, owed him favors. This allowed him to not only protect himself, but also expand his reach in ways that most people could never dream of. Need someone to collaborate on a project. Diddy had leverage, want to avoid bad press. Diddy knew just the right people to call. He's been able to manipulate the media, business deals, and even political connections, all because of what he knew.
Do you believe Diddy is a dangerous person?
Yes.
Now, with the legal system breathing down his neck, Diddy is allegedly trying to use this same network to secure a lighter sentence. He's basically saying, I've got the goods on everyone, and if I go down, they're all coming with me. And from what insiders are saying, law enforcement is very interested in what he has to offer. This isn't just some small-time scandal. It has the potential to shake up Hollywood, Wall Street, and even Washington, D.C. Let's talk about some of the people who are rumored to be involved. One of the biggest names making headlines is none other than Jay-Z. The two have had a complicated relationship over the years, sometimes collaborators, sometimes rivals. But behind the scenes, there are whispers that Jay-Z knew much more about Diddy's activities than he ever let on. Some are even suggesting that Jay-Z may have attended several of these infamous parties and turned a blind eye to what was happening. While there's no solid evidence yet linking Jay-Z to anything illegal, the fact that his name keeps coming up in these conversations is raising eyebrows. And then there's Justin Bieber. This one is especially shocking because Bieber was still very young when he first started hanging out with Diddy. There are reports that during this time, Diddy took Bieber under his wing, introducing him to a world that the pop star wasn't ready for. People have even speculated that some of the footage Diddy has involves Bieber being placed in situations that could ruin his career if they were ever made public. Remember, this is the same Justin Bieber who is just starting to shed his kid pop star image, and his time with Diddy could have played a much bigger role in shaping that transformation than anyone realizes.
This is in the matter of Derek Lee Cardello Smith, MDOC number 267009 versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records label owner.
Jennifer Lopez's name has also been thrown into the mix, especially because of her high-profile relationship with Diddy back in the late 90s. Their breakup was messy, but now people are starting to wonder if J-Lo knew more than she let on. Back in 1999, the two were famously arrested together after a nightclub shooting in New York, and while Lopez was quickly cleared of any wrongdoing, some are suggesting that she may have been aware of Diddy's darker side, even back then. Could she have been protecting herself by distancing herself from him before things really hit the fan? It's hard to say, but the timing of it all certainly raises questions.
If you got to run to a private island because your evil doings are doing so much and they storming your house, it's one of these.
Diddy's network of influence doesn't just stop at celebrities. He's had close ties to major political figures as well. Over the years, Diddy has rubbed shoulders with presidents, senators, and other high-ranking officials, using his star power to build connections in Washington, D.C. Now, as these investigations unfold, some are wondering just how deep those connections go. Could Diddy have dirt on political figures as well? If so, the ramifications of this case could extend far beyond the entertainment world.
I've had clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
The fallout from Diddy's cooperation with law enforcement is expected to be massive. We're not just talking about a few celebrities losing endorsement deals or being canceled on social media. This could lead to a federal crackdown on some of the most powerful people in Hollywood. If Diddy does hand over those tapes, we could be looking at criminal charges, prison sentences, and an entire industry turned on its head. And the fact that the authorities are taking this so seriously tells you everything you need to know about the scale of this situation.
New at 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs and then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the lawsuit in court.
Of course, there's also the question of whether Diddy's cooperation will make him a target. Let's face it, there are a lot of powerful people out there who don't want their secrets exposed, and they'll do whatever it takes to make sure that doesn't happen. Diddy may think he's saving himself by cutting a deal with the feds, but by doing so, he's putting a massive target on his back. Rumors are already swirling that some of Diddy's former associates are furious about his decision to cooperate, and they're not going to sit back and let him drag their names through the mud without a fight.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
One insider even claimed that Diddy's life could be in serious danger if he continues to cooperate with the authorities. We're talking about people who have built their careers, reputations, and fortunes on the secrecy and discretion that Diddy is about to tear apart. If those tapes get out, it won't just be Diddy's reputation on the line. It could ruin the lives of some of the most powerful people in the world. And these people have the resources to make sure that doesn't happen.
With this newest lawsuit, this would probably only expedite or increase the amount of allegations and potential witnesses who could testify against Sean Combs.
That said, Diddy is no fool. He's been in the game long enough to know the risks. And if there's one thing he's always been good at, it's survival. He's reportedly taken steps to protect himself, including hiring private security and keeping a close eye on who he interacts with. But even with those precautions, it's hard to imagine that Diddy will come out of this unscathed. His decision to cooperate with the authorities might buy him some time, but it's also made him a target in ways he's never experienced before.
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
What's even more shocking is the potential domino effect this could have on the entire entertainment industry. If Diddy goes down, he's not going down alone. There are whispers that dozens, if not hundreds, of high-profile individuals could be implicated if the full extent of Diddy's activities comes to light. And we're not just talking about actors and musicians. This could extend to athletes, executives, and even some of the wealthiest business moguls in the world.
If he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid.
The entertainment world is no stranger to scandal, but this could be something on a whole new level. We're already seeing major media outlets digging into Diddy's past, trying to uncover more details about his connections and what exactly went on at those parties. And as more information comes to light, it's becoming clear that this isn't just a story about one man's fall from grace. It's about the unraveling of an entire system that has been operating in the shadows for decades.
Diddy is now being sued in addition to what we just talked about by Dawn Richards. You guys will remember her. She was a part of Making the Band.
Dirty Money.
Dirty Money, the Danny Kane era. So basically what she is alleging, she's alleging a lot of different things too.
At the center of all this is the FBI. With Diddy's cooperation, federal agents are reportedly preparing for one of the biggest crackdowns in Hollywood history. They're not just going after Diddy, they're going after the entire network he's been a part of. If the rumors are true, we could see indictments, arrests, and public trials that will make headlines for years to come. And once the dust settles, Hollywood as we know, it could be forever changed.
Dawn had the choice to file the case as a Jane Doe, and she chose not to do that after giving it a fair amount of thought. She wants accountability. She wants justice.
It's a terrifying thought, especially for those who have spent their careers benefiting from the secrecy and power that Diddy once wielded. But for the rest of us, it's a reminder that no one, not even the biggest names in entertainment, are immune from facing the consequences of their actions. So, what happens next? It's hard to say for sure. Will Diddy's cooperation lead to the downfall of some of the most powerful people in the world? Or will he find a way to escape the consequences of his own actions? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. The tapes haven't been released yet, and until they are, the entertainment world will be holding its breath, waiting to see who will be exposed next.
And let me tell you something else. Not only should he have apologized to Cassie in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to.
As Diddy's saga continues to unfold, it's clear that this is more than just a personal downfall. It's the beginning of something much bigger. The man who once threw the most exclusive parties in Hollywood is now poised to take down the very system that made him a star. And as the world watches, one thing is certain, the secrets he's about to reveal could change everything. As the dust settles on Diddy's dramatic fall, it's hard not to wonder what's next. Will his shocking revelations bring down some of the biggest names in Hollywood, or is there more to this story than we know? What do you think? Will Diddy's cooperation with the FBI save him, or will it spark retaliation from those desperate to keep their secrets hidden? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.